And welcome back to Out of the Park 23 as the Minnesota Twins. And this is our playoffs episode where, ooh boy, the Milwaukee series was very dramatic. Definitely would be, I think, the correct word. So we had a lot of first inning issues in this series. Marquez gives up one in the first. Buxton had to leave this first game with quad soreness. Luckily, was not something that took him out for the rest of the series, or else I'm pretty sure that we would have lost the series, like almost guaranteed. So this game comes down to Colby White imploding. Of he comes in, faces three batters, gives up single, home run, double, and while we were able to limit the damage after that with from Cano, just put us too far behind. I mean, just this massive jump right there where there just wasn't really a ton we could do. Baez gets on the board with a home run, which was nice to see. Robles also hits a home run. Yeah, the bats in this series were not great. Kavoko could not touch right-handers. I think he struck out in, I think, literally every single at bat he had against a right-hander in this series. And really, the bats just weren't going in this first game. Where really, yeah, our bullpen was a problem in this game, and really was not good in the for most of the series. The bats really needed to be better than they were, and will have to be better in the next series because obviously you can tell we did win this series. So game two was Byron Buxton says that we do not lose. They, for whatever reason, let Mick Abel face him twice, and Buxton went yard off of him both times. So in this game, Alcantara gives up two solo home runs in the first inning, and then in the fifth he runs into trouble. I tried to go to Corbin Burns because just I didn't really trust any of my relievers from the previous game, and he promptly gives up a double to let both of those runs score. But he's fine after that. We're down 4-4 nothing. We start to come back in the seventh with the Buxton 2-run homer. I forget how we got the other run at that point. Let's see, it would have been, no, because that's later. I don't remember how we got the other. Oh, Royce looks like hit the 2-out double. Royce was also really, really good in this series. Cano and Duran both were good in this game, but unfortunately using them back-to-back games for a decent amount of time kind of took them off the board for game three. But this was a very, very tense game where Buxton just, nope. I ended up sort of what I did is I basically made the decision that Kirilloff and Kavoko are just kind of gonna platoon off of each other. And so we get to the bottom of the 10th, and we've got runners, I think, on first and third, and with the lefty and 2 outs. And I was like, I don't want Kirilloff, who's 0 for 4, to now have to face a lefty. So we didn't do that. And Kavoko gets the big hit off the lefty. So that was really good to see from him. Buxton, obviously player of the game, 2 massive home runs. WPA for him, it must have been, let's see, I mean, probably of like almost full on 1 full point of WPA probably in this game, win probability added. Just because, I mean, you can see this home run and this home run just both being massive. Yeah, I can't believe that they let Abel face him again. There's just no world in which you would ever do that in a game. And then game three, just no offense on either side. We had so many runners left. I mean, look at this. Runners left in scoring position with 2 outs for 5 different people. Doing that just was was rough. Just couldn't get anything going. Um, Wallner, I'm not really sure what to do with him. Obviously, no hits, but he did walk 4 times in the series, so I mean, it's still a pretty good on base percentage, but no hits. But Kavoko got the strikeout against the righty because I don't remember exactly what the situation was when I decided to bring him in for Wallner. It was against a lefty, I know that, but he wasn't able to do anything the first time. But then comes up in the bottom of the 10th and gets the walk off. I believe at least 2 of these were intentional walks on Baez, where I made the mistake of stealing with Frelick to try to get, the runner in scoring position. But the problem is that just this back end of my lineup outside of Royce just isn't doing anything. Kirilloff's been a black hole still. Gomez had an incredible start. Colby White battles back to actually have a good outing for me this time, which was very big. Aaron Nola pitched really well at the back end of the game, where it was just the point of I didn't know who to trust in my bullpen with no Duran available, no Cano available. So we went that route, and it worked out. He pitched 3 innings, just giving up the 1 hit. Eflin did get hurt. I don't think that mattered much because we didn't do anything until the 10th inning anyway. But just a very close series. It does not make me feel very confident going into the Angels series. I'm not even sure who I'm going to pitch game 1 of that. But let's take a look at what our situation is going to. Just go ahead and finish these couple of days. Oh god, it's just right away. Okay, so we don't even have a day. How do we pitch this game? So it has to be Alvarez, right? So Alvarez has to start this game. Nobody else is ready. Alright. So that's going to be thrown into the fire a little bit. That's fun. At least Cano is available. A decent amount of kind of these guys are going to be available. But, oh man, going to the rookie in game 1. That is not something that I want to see, but it's what we have to do. So then if we take a look at the Angels, still Drew Stratman. Pitching is definitely the forte of this team. Best starters ERA and best bullpen ERA. Bats, I mean, they have Mike Trout. Jared Walsh has been really good. Okay, so let's just go ahead. Actually surprised they scored that few runs. So obviously, Trout is Trout. He's probably going to win them at least 1 game in this series, and I just kind of have to go into the series knowing that. Ramon Liriano looks like he is having himself a bounce back here after struggling. So I remember criticizing them for signing this contract, and then seeing this happening kind of justified it at that point. But it looks like he's bounced back this year. I mean, he's still signed through age like 36. Jared Walsh, he hit 38 homers. Yeah, he's kind of home run or bust, it looks like. So I think I'm going to guess if we attack him with lefties, yeah, that's definitely the strategy where possible. But I'm betting Perez. Wow, that's a lot of awards. Yeah, Perez kind of mashes lefties. So that's obviously the protecting Walsh strategy there. Where it looks like Perez has had 3 pretty good years for them now. Nick Madrigal. Yeah, the Luis Arraez setup here. So, I mean, like, the offensively, it's not the scariest thing. Oh, Javi Baez. Yeah, just kind of having a fine year. Infield error, I feel like, should be about here. Because he's not that good defensively. not an all-star this year, but was last year. Yeah, so the offense for the Angels is not super intimidating outside of the obvious Mike Trout problem that you kind of have to hope that you can deal with. On the pitching side, obviously, this is a very good pitching team. Robinson Pena is in his, looks like, first arbitration year. So he's off a pretty good year. BABIP is pretty normal. Strikes out a lot of guys. So this is an all-star this year? Yep. So first time all-star this year. Really good curveball. And they get to line up their rotation perfectly as well. So, and Sam Bachman looks like a little bit luckier. But this FIP is super high. Is he an all-star? Also an all-star this year. 100-mile-an-hour extreme ground ball. Oh boy. Yeah, that's a really good pitcher. Joe Musgrove is the vet of the team. All-star the last 2 years, but not this year. But again, another pretty good year. Led the league in innings pitched. Extreme ground ball. And Drew Strotman, who we traded them, is definitely the worst of their starters. But we'll only see him once anyway. Oh hey, Connor Prelip is up here. I want to control the team. I don't want to control the team. I just want to look at him. Oh, that's in 6 appearances. Okay. And the FIP is hilariously high. Yeah, this was a Twins real-life draft pick this year. The supplementary rounds went quite a bit earlier here. So as far as the back end of their bullpen, Detmers, Trevor Rogers. It's a lot of good arms here. Brady Singer threw 5 innings. Threw 185. Interesting. Why don't they have him in their starting rotation over Strotman? That's odd. Yeah, because I'm guessing Detmers was their closer. Oh, he even started some games here too. This is very interesting. Bailey Ober's setup. Did not start any this year. A couple guys that we've traded them, Strotman and Ober. I would not have guessed that Strotman would be the starter and Ober would be the reliever, but I guess here we are. So, yeah, I mean, the bullpen has the best ERA in the league, but I'm in a lot of ways I don't feel as scared of it as I do. Oh, this guy's looks pretty good. I don't feel as scared of the bullpen as I do the starters. I think if we can get to the starters, we'll be okay. But I don't think we're going to be able to. I think we're going to lose this series, honestly. I really don't like how the pitching matches up for us. I don't like having to throw Alvarez in game 1. And I don't feel like we have... I mean, obviously, like, our starters were really good this year, too, right? We were second in runs against. We were second in starters ERA. But I have my concerns. I don't get a day off for Buxton. That's problematic. We'll sort of see how it goes at this point. And I'll see you shortly with the results of this second series. And we are back after the division series with the Angels. And boy, do we continue to like dramatics. So, first off, I think just before I even go in this game, the big thing to note for this series is that we didn't have a day off here, which is a little weird, and also definitely affected my pitching plans quite a bit, because I had to use everybody to get through these 3 games. We start off with Alvarez in game 1, which isn't great, but he pitched super well. Like, I can't complain about that outing at all. 5 solid innings. Cano and Moran blow the game in the 8th, where we were up 2-1 and then just couldn't put it together. It wasn't even Trout that kills us. It's this Jose Rondon guy. This is who nuked us, really, in this game and in the entire series. When he hits a bases-clearing double to win them the game, we can't quite pull it back in the 9th. Then with... I pinch hit Kavoko against the lefty, and he comes through with the home run with 2 outs. We weren't able to do anything after that. So then in game two, I dug even deeper into the well to say, okay, I made the change to my roster to call up Austin Love because I did not have a starting pitcher available. I had used Nola for multiple innings before. I'd used Burns. I didn't have anybody. So I went to Austin Love and again, can't complain at all. Very solid outing for him. Unfortunately, Colby White has become a problem for me in that he ends up blowing the game in the ninth after Duran gives up a run in the seventh on a home run to who else but Jose Rondon. And once again, Mike Trout does nothing. We're down 2-0. I'm very worried at this point about, okay, we're going to get swept in this series without giving up a single hit to Mike Trout. Offense really still is struggling. And yeah, really not else like a ton to really say. I had to play Gutierrez in this game as well because Punt had caught 4 games in 4 days at this point. And yeah, like it's just hard. Where I was basically at the point of, okay, we're gonna get swept, or at best we're gonna win one more game, and then we do come out and win game 3 to avoid getting swept once again. No hits for Mike Trout. He does get on base for the first time in the series, but Blake Hunt finally starts to do a little bit for us. Kirilloff's starting to figure things out a little bit, which is nice. Baez has a good game here. Really good outing from Marquez, and Duran and Cano were both good. I mean, this is really what a good game for us really looks like. They don't even have to use their bullpen at all in this game. Getting the 8 innings out of Musgrove. Yeah, Jose Miranda hit a triple in this game. I forgot about that. But yeah, I mean, really, it's kind of this top 3 guys in our order are really the only ones that have been consistently doing anything. And it's, can I find offense somewhere else? And we found it in this game. We got 12 hits. Really should have scored more than 4 runs, but it was enough. And then oh boy, game 4 was crazy. So we get 3 runs in the 4th. Buxton gets hurt again. This was a throwing injury, yep. So we had to take him out of the game to put in Robles, and then Buxton DHs in game 5. So we get 3 in the 4th. Top of the 6th, we get a situation where we have so Alcantara. Yeah, I forget if it was, he just wasn't effective. I think he hit somebody. Yeah, he hit 2 guys, walked 1, 2 hits. I wasn't going to take the chance. So I went to Corbin Burns, who was good for 3 innings, and then top of the 6th, runs into some trouble. We have bases loaded, nobody out. I get 2 strikeouts. And then Rondon comes up, and I'm like, okay, watch. He's going to hit a grand slam. Rondon hits a grand slam. Okay. And then we get one back in the bottom of the 6th to tie it up. And then we give up the 2 runs in the 7th. It wasn't it wasn't a double. They must have just strung together a couple of hits at that point. Colby White struggles again. It's unfortunate. Then we get a little bit lucky with the error, and we're able to finally this is really probably the only good hitting inning that we've had in probably the entire playoffs, of actually just stringing together multiple hits. And then we were able to then I turned to Aaron Nola for the 8th and the 9th because I didn't have really anybody available. Duran threw 2 the day before. White was ineffective. I'd already burned Cano, and he wasn't super effective. That was just really what I had. He got injured on literally facing the last batter of the inning, so it didn't matter. Where he got the last out and got hurt on that inning. Wallner gets his second hit, which is another home run. I'm really not sure. I think I'm actually going to maybe give Aranda some run in this championship series against Toronto, because Wallner struggled. And then we win game 5 as well. Blake Hunt finally comes through with a big 3-run homer after really not a lot going on. Yandris Gomez was incredible, where the 2 runs he gives up was a 2-run homer to Baez with 2 outs in the 8th. And that was it. Mike Trout finally gets a hit in game 5. Oh, he actually had 2 other ones there. But yes, I mean, this is what we held Trout to. We didn't lose a game to him. He had no RBIs. Honestly, we did a really good job with him. It was just Jose Rondon who was named the series MVP. 444 batting average, had 3 home runs, or was it just 2 home runs? Yeah, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs in the series. For, let's see, so the Angels in this series scored 4, 7, 9, 15, 18 runs. Rondon knocked in 10 of them. So that's pretty crazy. So then with the day off, our pitching staff does line up better. So I do have to think about this a little bit about who I want to throw game 1. Because realistically, I'm not going to be able to get 3 starts. I don't think I have anybody with the stamina to do a 1-4-7 thing. So realistically, I'm probably looking at getting 2 starts out of these 2 guys. Then I'm not really sure where else I'll go. Beyond that, Gomez, maybe if I can get Gomez, if Gomez can potentially be ready for game 3 of this series, let's see. So if he pitches here, 1, 2, 3, 4 days rest, to be able to get him for 3 and 7, honestly, I think I might try to do that. And then like Alcantara or somebody else can throw this game. Or if I go like Alvarez, Marquez, Gomez, somebody, and then that same thing where I can line up Gomez for potential game 7, which the way that we're going to lose these first 3, and then we'll see what happens, because all of our wins have came in elimination games in the playoffs. I don't know how well that will hold up against Toronto, because obviously, again, this is a huge bat team. If we go and we take a look at this, where that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys with OPS pluses above 100. George Springer didn't have a great year. Bryson Stott didn't have a great year. But there's a lot of concern points. Obviously, Vlad Guerrero's a problem. Bill Bichette had an incredible year. What does that hamstring injury do? It's just running, so that doesn't matter. Alejandro Kirk, who killed us that first year, so I have to remember to be a little more aware of him as a problem. This young guy, Elvis Martinez, has been having some pretty good years in the majors. Looks like they've extended him. Let's see, which way does Ian Happ hit better? I'm not allowed to control this team. I don't want to control this team. Look at this. He hits better as a lefty. Okay. So that means, okay, so this is the lefty part of, is the 7-8-9-1 is kind of the spot for lefties here, I think. Probably have to be aware of Schwarber's potential, because I'm betting he smashes righties. Okay, he actually was neutral. Interesting. So, yeah, obviously there's a lot of concern points here. Guerrero, Bichette being the biggest ones, obviously. But really, a lot of this lineup can hurt you. Pitching looks like it was a little bit rougher, with the exception of Nate Pearson. Looks like he had a really good year this year. So the fact that we'll probably only get him once as it stands, but I'm guessing he's similar boat to Gomez, where we'll see if they push him into that matchup, or if they are content to just have him do the one. there. Rios wasn't great this year. Alec Manoa was also, looks like, a little bit unlucky. Yeah, 322 BABIP. Pretty high. I was mostly in AAA last year. So, I mean, these two are definitely winnable. Let's see. Merriweather, kind of a league average guy. Just isn't going to walk anybody, but he's going to strike a lot of people out either. So, I mean, we can get to these starters. I mean, Pearson's the only one who looks scary to me at all. Matzek had a really good year. Obviously, he's a problem at the back end. I think we're going to see some matchups with Kavoko being called on in the 8th and 9th inning again. He's been good against lefties for me in the playoffs. This Nathan Webb guy looks pretty good. He's kind of whatever. Oh, hey, old friend Jorge Alcala is here. Hasn't done anything. Was he a starter this year? No, not really. Just threw a lot of innings. Same thing with him. Couple starts. But yeah, so really the pitching staff, it's really Webb, Matzek, and Pearson are the only guys that super scare me. My offense still hasn't really put it together. I think, like in the Angel series, I think it's probably I'm the slight underdog here. Wow, this is a lot of injuries too that these guys are dealing with. Yeah, I will be. I think I win that. I'd be surprised. Oh, Gaussman. When did he get hurt? He got hurt in August. That's unfortunate. He was having a pretty good year. And the Bichette injury we said was just running. So that could be something where maybe they just like DH him or like that and have Biggio play second. And somebody else plays short. And Stott plays short. He played okay. So yeah, that's going to be the ALCS matchup. And I will be back shortly with the results of that. See you in a bit. And we are back after the Blue Jays series, and the Twins were not able to keep the mojo going. We continued to have only close games. I think our 2 wins in this series by 3 were the closest or the biggest blowouts of our entire playoff run in any direction, which means it really was the bullpen was not able to come through for us. So here in game 1, we got walked off in the bottom of the 10th inning. We had chances in the top of the 10th. I think we had 2 or 3 guys on in that inning, but we weren't able to do much. We weren't able to do anything to Barrios. Sal Frelick did hit a home run. Marquez was okay. Colby White had probably his one good appearance of the entire playoff run. Nardi could not get it done in the 10th, giving up the walk-off hit to Martinez, who was a problem for us this series. It's really weird because once again, we really had the case where the star players didn't really burn us. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Vlad got 2 hits in game 6, but other than that, he really didn't do a ton. Bichette, it looks like Vlad actually missed some of the World Series. He only played in 1 game. That's unfortunate for them. But yeah, so that was game 1. Game 2 is pretty similar again. We score 3 in the second, and then Alvarez gives up a 5 bomb in the second inning, entirely unearned. Pass ball. I think we might have had another error after that. But yeah, we had the pass ball was, I believe, on a strikeout, and then we weren't able to make stuff happen. And really, this is kind of the big story, I think, for us, is that we continued to leave guys on base. We had plenty of chances in this series and just couldn't find ways to get it done. Yeah, so this was the second game and the final game where Buxton was our DH instead of our center fielder because of the injury. But after this point, we could kind of go back to having Wallner being our DH and kind of playing Kavoko when the situation called for it. You could definitely make an argument that I stuck with Wallner a little too long and maybe I should have gone to Aranda, but Aranda had such a bad year that it just didn't seem like it was really worth it. So in game three was really a game where 8-5 it wasn't actually even that close. We were up 6-0 after 4 innings. Buxton hit a big home run. Colby White was bad again. And yeah, I mean, this was really one of the biggest, I think, disappointments of my playoff run was just how poor he really was. Where I think he only had one appearance where he didn't give up a run. Ends it with a 14.4 ERA. So was this the 25th? No, okay, I did actually use him after this again. But I mean, he's a guy who was so good for me and was a guy that I trust in the back of my. I really wonder if this circle change just is making him just a significantly worse pitcher. Of the fact that like he's trying to throw this when he has three elite pitches, just I don't know really what to think about that because like the ERA is just like doubled from the last 2 years. I mean, the FIP is still about where it was before, but yeah, I do wonder if this is just a problem. So, Duran good, Nardi good, Cano good. We just kind of said after that point of just okay, we just go to the guys that are our lockdown pieces to finish off the game, and that's what we did. The 2 runs in the seventh were nice for a little bit of breathing room, but yeah, Buxton, Frelick, Miranda, those were really our 3 best hitters in the playoffs. Kirilloff did start to pick it up again towards the end. Makes me feel a little bit better about him moving forward. Game 4 goes to the 10th inning where we had again a lot of chances in this game where Watts again people left in scoring position with 2 outs. The left on base number is not like super accurate in this because I think it's like if, for example, if Baez has 2 guys on and then gets out, and then Kirilloff has 2 guys out, it's like we didn't leave 32 people on base, right? But we had 13 guys get on base plus 3 errors, so 16 people, and we only scored 5 runs. That's rough, but Baez hits the massive walk-off for us where this was a good game again for him. And he definitely has played pretty well, I think, overall in this postseason, where he's going to get, I think, the starting spot in right field for us going into next year. Alcantara was okay. I mean, nothing super special from him. But Duran, Nardi were very good again. I mean, these were really our 2 biggest arms in this game. The Matzek injury might have mattered here, but I don't know if they would have gone to him for a 3rd inning at that point with only 30 stamina, with having thrown 29 pitches. I mean, maybe, but probably not. So then we get to game 5, and even though we got off to a good start, Marquez couldn't keep it together. Burns was kind of fine in relief, but our offense again couldn't get anything going. Again, lots of people left in scoring position with 2 outs. Just we couldn't make it happen. Miranda hit another home run. We got some doubles, but again, we just couldn't find a way to break through. 12 hits and 4 runs, just not great. Then this last game was really unfortunate. We should have won this game, really. I mean, we're up 5-1 going into the bottom of the 7th inning. And then all of our best pitchers got beat. Colby White gives up the run. Nardi gives up a pair. Duran gives up a pair. Cano gives up 3 in the bottom of the 9th on he gives up the run scoring single, and then Ian Happ goes yard off of him. And really it was just this was really the one game where my offense actually did stuff, but even then we left a lot of guys on base, had 15 hits and 3 walks. and only scored 6 runs off of that. Elvis Martinez is the series MVP, well deserved. I feel okay getting beat by him, or at least it wasn't the Rondon from last series. Ian Happ had a really good game 6. But really, it's the bullpen is something I'm going to have to figure out for next year. Because, I mean, these were some of my best arms in my bullpen that just weren't that good in the playoffs. I mean, I'll take the 2.7 from Duran. Nardi's is a little bit rough, but he had a lot of scoreless outings as well. So I can't be too upset about this. So I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, Alvarez gave me a good start. I mean, I'm happy with my starting pitching. I think for the most part, I'm pretty happy with how that went. I'll get a full year of Burns next year, and Alcantara will be gone. So we'll have, I think, a good starting rotation coming into next year. Nola will be gone as well, but obviously he wasn't really starting for us much at the end. You take a quick look at some of the stuff that they want us to do. I really, part of me wants to just turn off owner goals because it's annoying every year seeing sign this guy who wants a $30 million contract. No, unless they're a superstar, I'm not going to do that. Like, Aaron Nola's coming off of a terrible year. Like, why would I want to re-sign this guy to this contract? No. So, yeah, that's the playoffs. We are not able to defend our title again. Then we go into the playoffs, and the Braves win this series in 6. Obviously, the Blue Jays losing Vlad for the series is really, really rough. Ian Anderson looks like probably won 2 games for them, where they couldn't do anything off of him. So, yeah, it looks like it was very much when Toronto could get their offense going, they did well. But, yeah, let's see. So, in the World Series, yeah, it looks like Atlanta was able to limit them pretty effectively. Elvis Martinez was the series MVP against us. Couldn't get a lot going other than 2 home runs. Bichette and Springer were both good. But, I mean, 1 at-bat out of Vlad is not something that you want to see. Oh, Kyle Schwarber had 19 at-bats and no hits. That's rough. And then over here, looks like Gabriel Moreno had a pretty good series. Brian Reynolds. Riley. I mean, Brian Reynolds looks like he was really the star for them in this series. Is he the World Series MVP? He was. Yeah. I mean, 3 home runs will do that. I am actually sort of curious to look at this. So, in our series, yeah, Correa and Miranda and Frelick were all good. Kirilloff was fine. I probably should have moved Royce off from hitting 3rd. But, I mean, you can see a lot of these reliever ERAs in this series were very problematic. Alvarez was good. I mean, but he gave up 5 runs. They were just earned. But, I mean, Marquez wasn't great. I mean, our pitching was just really let us down, unfortunately, after being 2nd in the AL in runs against. We just couldn't really find a way to make it work. So, yeah, that is the playoffs. Congratulations to the Atlanta Braves for the National League actually showing up a little bit more in this playoff. The old National League, something that'll still, even though I kind of realized that everything, I adjusted everything. It's still in my head. I still mostly think of them as kind of old American League, old National League teams. So it's just really interesting to me seeing the old National League having 1, 2, 3, only 4 teams in the playoffs, and even in the championship series, they only had 1 left. They did win it, but it'll be interesting to sort of keep track of who wins more World Series at this point. But that will be it for this episode. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.